And now is when we
Woo!
stop talking about how we feel about our listeners.
Yeah. We got to stop talking about what we think about the listeners.
All right. We're going to go Grace and then Jess for the order.
Okay.
And Grace seems disheveled by that choice.
All right.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Hey. Oh.
And welcome to episode 425 of Cinematary. I'm your host, Zach Dennis, and I'm here with
Grace
and Jess.
And in today's episode, we're going to talk about movies that we saw this week in part 1, and then in part 2, we're going to be snapping our fingers and talking about 1991's The Addams Family.
No.
And that's why, for those watching at home, we all have black on. Jess is partially on fire, it looks like, and Grace is Wednesday Addams.
Thank you for noticing. I'm just kidding.
It doesn't. We forget that it's an audio medium, so people listening in their cars or while they're working out don't see the effort that we put into this.
We all dressed really cute.
What are you wearing?
Just just like that. You should definitely go check the YouTube video just to see the vibes tonight.
Yeah.
Wait, Zach, you took Zach's screen for a second. It was like all dark, and it was like just Zach face. And I think you should bring that back. It was really good.
It's very spooky.
And then turned the lamp off or something. And it was like.
Yeah, I got no lights on. We just got creepy vibes in here. I'm hoping that something comes out of like my bedroom over here, and then attacks me on the what's the Skype horror movie?
Unfriended or whatever.
Unfriended, Unfriended, and I'm like, oh. That's how I would get attacked. I would just be like, whoa. Anyway, we're just killing time here. People are signing off. All right, let's go. Let's talk about. I believe this is a newer release. Jess, talk to us a little bit about Barbarian.
Yeah, me and Grace both. We're going to talk about Barbarian. So Barbarian.
Sure.
Barbarian stars Alexander Skarsgård, that you may remember from It, chapters 1 and 2.
That's Bill Skarsgård.
That's Bill Skarsgård, right? Sorry.
Alexander, he's True Blood.
You're right. Bill Skarsgård, he's It. And then Georgina Campbell.
All of them.
Oh, and what's Justin Long? So stars all three. But the central premise is a girl goes to an Airbnb late at night. She's got like a job interview or something. But whoops, turns out it was already booked. And then what are you going to do late at night in like the shadiest part of town? But, just hang out with Bill Skarsgård. But things in the Airbnb are not what they seem. And things become increasingly complicated for Georgina and Bill and Justin Long as their paths collide in violent ways. Or, I don't know. You need to just watch it and see. So I will say that I really thought that the first bit of the movie was super interesting. It really reminded me of The Descent, which is a movie that I find very terrifying. Maybe not like one of my favorite horror movies, and I never really want to watch again. But just the idea of like cave people, being down in there, like their own species of people, and like if it's too dark in caves, and then they get you, and then that's it for you. Like your whole life, you're gonna be eaten up by like the cave people. That idea, but I'm not gonna say much more about it. But I guess I thought in Barbarian, like that's kind of what we had going on, and I was like, oh fuck, like that's terrifying. I also have a very creepy basement, so
is cave people a real fear for you?
I mean, not like frequently, but when I think about The Descent, I have like this like deep pit in my soul of like despair and fright. Can't
literally in the sense of that movie. It was Eat Pit.
Yeah, it's not a good. it unlocks something in me. I think it's very effectively horrifying, and I don't think I ever want to watch it again. So when I thought Barbarian was doing something along those lines, I thought it was really interesting. And then it kind of cuts that tension and jumps to Justin Long being like the biggest douchebag you can imagine, which could be fun, but it's sort of, I thought he was written as so much of a stereotype of a character that it just didn't even feel like anything other than a bit to me, and it got on my nerves. So I didn't love the movie, but Grace, you really liked it, so I would love to hear like what you loved about it. It just didn't fit. It didn't sit me. Didn't work with me, but you liked it.
Really? Oh man, I really loved it. It starts with one fear. It peels back a layer. We're on to a second fear. Peels back another layer. Third, fourth. Like there are so many different like horror storylines that this movie could have gone, and it almost felt like a choose your own adventure. We start out a young, beautiful girl in a city she's never been to, she's not familiar with, like you said, the shady part of town, to an Airbnb. She's traveling alone. That's already, my worst fear. My skin is crawling. Okay? She's at this Airbnb. Now there's this man here. I don't know you. Another fear. I'm afraid of men. What do I do next? Like, this is already like my worst fucking nightmare. Where's it gonna go from here? And then, like you say, it gets to the this descent people. I mean, what was her name? What was her name in it? Was it Mel? I forget her name in the movie.
Tess.
Sorry, like
Tess.
Tess. Like that's a good like female protagonist name, and it's like she's confronted with like each horror path and says no.
I know.
Or stays alive.
Right.
And subverting each horror storyline along the way. I think Justin Long is fantastic in this. He's a villain too throughout the whole thing.
Right.
Like he says gross things because he's just like a regular average guy. I'm very persistent. I get what I want. Right. It, as non-threatening as he thinks it is, it's still very threatening and very frightening. Here comes my cat to partake. I thought it was so good. I loved every second of it. And this even has a monster, like multiple monsters in this. Like This is a monster movie too. Like it's everything. It's so good. Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought it's set so well. Yeah.
I do think.
I'd go see it again. Now that I'm not afraid, I can see it. I was terrified.
I do think it was really interesting. The whole like her like on the journey to like figure out what the fuck is in this basement because she gets stuck and then it just goes deeper and deeper, and just putting all these pieces together. I thought all of that was really interesting, and I started to think for a little while. So like another movie this reminded me a little bit of, or I thought it was going to do something like this, was Cabin in the Woods, because when I watched the trailer for this movie, they spun it to where it was like maybe there was some kind of instructional video thing, and there was an instructional video that you find later in the movie. I'm not going to reveal what that is, but the way the trailer like kind of framed the movie, I thought it was going to be some kind of like, I don't know, they find themselves in some kind of jigsaw kind of thing, like, where they've got to like break their way out or something like that. But then for a little while, I'm sitting there watching it and I thought maybe this is going to be, like you said, like a choose your own adventure. Like maybe it's going to be some kind of video game thing where like you go into some kind of VR thing and you're in these horror like scenario and you have to like slowly peel back. And so at first, like I did kind of like the peeling of it. But then when I finally get to the core, like the fruit, and it reveals like actually what the villain is, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't. I don't know when it finally like showed us like what the thing behind it was. I mean, it was sad for sure, like fucked up and yucky. But I just thought it was a little corny too, and like seeing the big boob and just the whole. Pause.
Yeah. It's
attention.
So there are tits in this. In my head, I was literally like, this movie is what Cabin in the Woods wishes it was.
What's
No.
the big?
Maybe.
There's a big.
Yes.
I don't want to say. I think we
The
shouldn't
boob.
say anything else. Promise you, there will be a big.
Will you
two
tell
of them.
me when we stop recording? Because that sounds hilarious.
There's a boob. There's 2 of them.
Sure. 2 boobs at least.
2 boobs.
Gotta be.
Sign me up.
So for
Yeah.
Grace, so Grace says 2 boobs up for Grace. Jess says 2 boobs down. Sorry. Love it or hate it, you should check it out. It was interesting for sure. Definitely unique. The characters, most of the writing in it just didn't work for me. Like the dialogue felt so. It just clicked. It just didn't mesh in my head. Like everything felt so artificial. It just didn't work. But I don't know why that is. It just couldn't click for it. But there were some really interesting elements, and Grace loved it. So you might too. Check it out. If not for anything else, check out those big tits.
Yeah.
No,
Check it out.
don't go
His
for
name
that
is
because
Justin.
don't go for the boobs. You will be.
If you're gonna watch it
Haunted.
for something, at least watch it to check out those tits. Barbarian in
Haunted
theaters now.
No.
I just looked, and it looks like Barbarian is on HBO Max. So
It's not. It
people
might
have-
still be in
Finally.
some theaters, depending on
It's
where
about
you are.
time.
yeah, so it looks like you can watch your big tits at home
Remember when you had to like wait
in the
for a
comfort of your
movie?
house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like months,
Yeah.
and then get it on VHS at Blockbuster. Or
No,
something.
I need
I
it.
had to
I
wait
need.
for it to
I
be
need.
released.
Right now,
In the
from the
house.
comfort of
If
my
it's
own
not on
home.
mine,
Watch it in your
Yeah.
basement.
then I'm not
That might
watching
be
it.
fun.
Yeah, watch it in your basement.
Get your
Watch it in your
laptop
next
sub
to a
basement.
naked.
Get the
Why
get
don't
your
I add
laptop.
that to the
Oh,
square
I will
footage?
say,
That was hilarious.
yes,
This movie,
that was funny.
Barbarian
The
is
square footage part
hilarious.
Was very fun. The
Barbarian
square
is
footage part,
hilarious.
It's got some funny moments for sure. Go get your tape measure. Check out how much square foot you've got in your basement. See how much you might be able to write that off as square footage in your home. Get your laptop. Log into
If you can
HBO
fit
Go.
in a home movie theater,
Yeah, and then watch it in the
Watch
darkest room in your deepest basements
Okay.
with the lights off.
Or if
Okay.
you're into big tits,
It,
it has something for everybody.
they'll be there, I promise.
All right. Well, from
little column A, little column B.
before we talk about one well-known creepy family, we're going to talk about another well-known creepy family. Grace, introduce us to the Munsters.
Oh, well, there's Herman. They call him Herman because that's her man, Lily's to be exact. What is her? You like that? Yeah.
It's clever.
Came up with that today. Yeah, it's clever, isn't it? There's Herman and Lily, the lovely couple. Herman, a botched Frankenstein, and Lily, a gorgeous vampire. Her
This is made by Rob
father,
Zombie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's great. No, it's great. It's great.
Anyway, continue. Yes.
He was meant for this. This is like this would have
Is it a
been
kids'
great movie to like feature. You know what? I was just gonna say that because this would have been a fabulous feature for this horror for children. I want to have
Ah.
kids and show them this movie. Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
And then the Addams Family.
Yeah. And then the Addams Family, which I have on DVD, Family Heirlooms. I'm gonna pass these down. The Munsters is fabulous. Rob knew what he was doing. It's hysterical. Sherry is pitch perfect. But the Munsters, I used to think that the Munsters were the off-brand Addams Family, but the way that Rob reintroduces them and gives us like really like puts his own undead rock star spin on it, undead rock star wife guy spin on it.
Yeah.
It's a delightful treat. It is charming. Every frame is full of velvet and cobwebs. It's beautiful. It's rich. It's hilarious. Charming visuals. Herman's a wife guy. Lily loves her husband. Grandpa can't stand the marriage. He's not good enough for my daughter. It's so
Grace,
sweet. Like, what a sweet family dynamic.
What's the movie about, though?
What's the movie about? It's about them becoming the Munsters that we know and love on TV. Minus their human cousin, Lily's human cousin. Those of you that know. Those of you that watch TV Land as a strange little girl with no friends, me. You watched
so loud,
the
Jess.
Munsters. You watched
Which
the Munsters.
one's
and
Eddie?
You know they have it.
Which one is Eddie Munster?
That is their werewolf son, but he's been changed into her werewolf brother Lester for the purpose of this movie. There's been some reconfiguring, some rewriting.
I don't like
some
that
revision.
because
Revisionist history.
The only reference points to the Munsters I have is Eddie Munster because he's a featured point in the I Think You Should Leave Now sketch called Tables, where her job is tables and dealing with Eddie Munster.
Is tables. Right.
And dealing with Eddie Munster.
And how he ruins those tables.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's wonderful.
It sounds great. I'm sold.
Another fun little weird family to check out for Halloween. If nothing else, if you like wife guys, guys whose entire personality is loving their wife, here's Eddie Munster for you. Or here's Herman Munster for you. Look what you did. You got Eddie on the brain. Here's Herman Munster for you.
It sounds great. I mean, sounds like if you like the Addams Family, you love the like drippy dynamic between like Gomez and Morticia, and you want just a little bit more of that after you marathon the rest of the Addams Family movies. Then you're gonna go check out the Munsters. Where did you watch it?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
It's on,
I'm in.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I'm in.
It's on
Grace,
Netflix.
we talked last week about how they don't make, like horror for kids movies anymore. So do you feel like this one kind of fills the Addams Family witch's role? Is it weird and strange?
It's weird. It's strange. It's funny. It's corny. Like really, really like cheeseball corny humor. I laughed so hard I cried.
But
I guess I have the sense of humor of a small child. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I've gathered that about you.
Ouch.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a compliment.
No, Grace asked me last week if I ever laughed. So.
I did ask that.
Oh.
He said
she just
yes.
straight faced looked at me and was like, "Do you ever
harder.
laugh?"
What did you say to that? Did you laugh?
I
just stared at her.
Oof.
I said with a very straight face, I was like, "Yes, I do laugh."
I was just rattling off joke after joke, laugh after laugh, and I was getting nothing from
them. You just keep throwing things at the wall and you see what sticks and nothing will stick. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
She was like up there like, "I'm dying up here." Like doing that whole thing. Like had the microphone.
No respect.
Like, this thing on.
Ridiculous. Hopefully at least the listeners were laughing, and that's, you'll never get to, never know.
This was behind this is behind the scenes news.
This is pre-recording.
I'll never know, you're right.
Yeah. No, she chose to just take a shot at me.
I need to bring a laugh track to this. This hurts my feelings. No respect. I get no respect.
Zach, you should definitely get us a laugh track.
Donate now, patreon.com/cinematary, and we too can have a laugh track that we can.
Oh my gosh! What if for $10 a month people could submit like a 20-second clip of them laughing, and then we make a laugh track? That would be really weird.
Do you like at least in the video that Grace is frozen right now?
She is.
And what looks like a MySpace profile picture. All right. Well, we'll let Grace figure out her computer at the moment, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back talking about the Addams Family after this.
Zach, do you prefer one audio track or two?
Two's fine.
Okay.
You were like using that slinky, and it was so loud.
I was worried, but I figured you would give me the feedback if it was, and you did, and I appreciated that. And I stopped. Oh man, Grace is gone.
Grace said that her computer died. She's switching over.
Oh, beans. Well, while she's gone, got any cool jokes for the listeners out here tonight?
Why are cats better than dogs?
I don't know, Zach. Why?
Because a cat would never become a cop.
It's true. It would not.
That doesn't really hit well. Like a lot of people get offended by that one.
They do. Luckily, I don't think that many people listen to this specific segment of the show.
I think they'll be okay.
And those that do, well, you've made it this far.
Grace is on the bottom right now. She looks like she's in like a Blair Witch Project movie.
Oh, so she can hear us, but we can't hear or see her.
Yeah, I'm just like watching her little button thing on the bottom. She
kind of makes you feel like God in that moment, you know.
I feel like God generally.
Yeah.
TBH.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, I mean, basically, I think.
Like honestly, I'm just like sexy God.
You know what?
All right,
yeah.
up. Grace disappeared. I was gonna let her in. She disappeared.
She left. She's like, "Yeah, I'm done with these people." Jess kept talking about tits, and Zach's talking.
Well, you just like just out of nowhere, you're just like, "Yeah," and there's that giant tit, and I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And you're like, "There's two of them." I'm like, "Yeah." They usually come in pairs. Nobody's getting a single tit.
I mean, you zoom in on one, but. See, now your screen is dark. Did you turn the light off or?
No, it's because in StreamYard, it's a little brighter. Like, I don't think you can.
Yeah, if I put it on like the full screen, there's less white on my screen, so it makes my face darker.
Let's see,
so I'm keeping it on not full screen.
I don't think there's a dark mode.
It's just because there's like a lot of white on my computer, but it's actually cooler for you when it's just like your face because it's very spooky. Right now, it's pretty good. The light levels. So Grace is.
And
just
if I go, no, Grace is back.
Oh, she's back.
She initially was just running around the house like a Blair Witch.
Oh, so now you're okay. There she is.
This has been the worst night of my life. Oh my god.
Just for computer stuff.
Yeah, this is humiliating. Well,
oh, mine, literally every time I'm on the podcast, my shit fucks up. So.
I wish you'll have to go back and watch the video of when you froze because like
you're just sitting there so pleasantly, like
yeah, you're sitting there pleasantly and like the quality is not it's like the quality depreciated a little bit, and so it kind of looks like a profile picture from like early Facebook MySpace. It was like the pose and everything. It was really funny.
I'm glad it was fun for you guys. I'm so sorry.
No, it happens to me all the time.
I made that comment. We ended the first part.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good time.
Like, look at Grace. She's a MySpace profile. Let's move on with the show.
Nevertheless,
it's a real video-heavy podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thousands of people watching. They saw.
We've had the last month. I forgot to send a note. We've had like more weekly listens than we've had ever.
What? Wow. Hey, y'all.
Good job, guys.
Like, anybody live with us right now?
No.
Dang. Rip.
Unless, go tell Andrew to sign on.
He's driving right now.
It seems like a perfect time to sign on then.
Yeah.
I do like when people join live and I can put the little comments.
I wish literally anybody ever would. You guys should do that. People who are watching this YouTube video.
What's this?
Oh, how cute. You should just leave it like that. How autumnal.
Yeah.
Ew, I'm on top now. Put Grace back on top. I don't like being on top.
I can't move it around, I think. Yeah.
What if you like hide me for a second?
Oh, let's try this.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
We're equals.
It felt like it was thrown off. It was throwing me off.
This is my favorite.
So good. Goes so hard.
It does go hard.
It goes so hard.
Grace didn't dance at all.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Wow. I danced.
Not that kind of beat.
It's okay. You weren't the music didn't
Not my
call
rhythm.
to you. Yeah.
It's okay. I'll keep up the autumnal brandy.
Thank you so much, Dad. It's really makes a big
Brandy.
difference. The quality.
I can also add night driving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slow jam.
So
Like,
so if people know me, they know I like to talk about the Addams Family, 1991.
are we recording? Should I hit play? Are we doing
Why
this?
is night driving so somewhat sexual?
There's something sexual about night driving. I don't know what to
Yeah.
say.
Hello, cool cats. This is
You're driving to
105.1.
that.
It's just
The
me
big
and my
drive.
girl, wide open road, dark
If you're
night.
with your girl right now, why don't you put your arm around her and let's talk about 1991's The Addams Family. Anjelica Huston, Christopher Lloyd, Christina Ricci. This movie is insane balls. You
Okay,
catch
but
it
for
on
real, should I
Paramount
start
Plus.
recording? I feel like I should be recording this.
No,
It's
that's
too
just
good.
fun for the YouTube. All right, let's talk about Addams Family.
All right, I'm gonna record. Starting.
I think down deep. I would like to be like a drive time radio host.
Thank
be
you.
so
I think you're born
That
to that.
time disc jockey.
All right,
Wait,
let's do it.
before we go live.
Good luck. Live your dreams.
There's been no structure to this podcast.
It's like a ghost floating through space.
I like that the ghost has the different colors.
Me too.
It's
fun
like
because
it's like
kind of like
it's like they're dead, but also they know how to party.
they do. I mean, they've lived a whole dang life. Come on. I like this too because
The afterlife of the party.
I
That's
just put
pretty
it
good.
somewhere
I knew
and
that.
it's motion detected. So like I'll put it somewhere in my house and then people will pass by it and they never know when it's gonna go off and ruin their night. So anyway, all right, let's start. Let's do it. You want to count us in, Zacharani?
Here we go.
Na-na-na-na.
In 1. And we're back with part 2 of episode 425 of Cinematary. In this part, we will continue our Horror for Kids series with 1991's The Addams Family, directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, from a script by Carolina Thompson and Larry Wilson. The film stars Anjelica Huston, Raul Julia, Christina Ricci, and Christopher Lloyd. When a man claiming to be Fester, the missing brother of Gomez Addams, arrives at the Addams home, the family is thrilled. However, Morticia begins to suspect the man is a fraud, since he cannot recall details of Fester's life. With the help of lawyer Tully Alfred, Fester manages to get the Addams clan evicted from their home. Gomez realizes that 2 men are conspiring to swindle the Addams fortune and that he must challenge Fester. Despite numerous reports that Anjelica Huston was the only actress considered to play Morticia, a November 1989 Screen International issue announced that Ivan Reitman of Ghostbusters fame was initially hired to direct Cher opposite Kevin Kline as Gomez, with production set to begin in spring of 1990. Though the following summer, a following issue suggested that Robin Williams was rumored to star opposite Anjelica Huston.
No. He is no Gomez.
Yeah. Cinematographer
No
turned
offense.
first-time director Barry Sonnenfeld was not producer Scott Rudin's first choice for the Addams Family. The producer frequently joked with Sonnenfeld that about the other directors considered for the job, including Tim Burton, Joe Dante, Terry Gilliam, Richard Benjamin, David Lynch, Arthur Hiller, and Rob Reiner. Can you imagine a Terry Gilliam
David
or
Lynch.
David Lynch Addams Family? Sonnenfeld reportedly struggled with stress on the project and once fainted on set while speaking with Orion employee Ron Lynch, who monitored production costs. And food stylist and caterer Nina Solomon created various vile meals that characters ate on screen using food coloring and objects such as goat heads, hooves, brains, cow's liver, and tripe. Solomon, though, is not credited on screen. In her 2014 memoir, Watch Me, Anjelica Huston described the filming of The Addams Family as, quote, long and arduous. It was decided that the character of Morticia should have eyes which slanted upwards at the sides, an effect which was achieved by attaching an elastic strap to the back of Anjelica Huston's head via fabric tabs glued at her temples, which pulled the corners of her eyes upwards. A second strap was added to balance the appearance of the lower part of her face with the upper. The bands caused extended discomfort to Huston, and unless she removed them at lunchtime, she would suffer severe headaches and rashes later in the day. Removing the bands for a break entailed hours of extra work in both removing and then reapplying her makeup and wig. On top of this, the bands would snap at the slightest turn of Huston's head, causing yet more grueling repair time. Eventually, she learned to pivot and turn on her feet without moving her upper body or head. According to Huston, actress Judith Malina's way of enduring being, quote, embedded in latex for over 12 hours a day was to, quote, smoke an endless series of joints in her trailer throughout filming.
So wait, who?
Judith Malina. Let me see who she was in Addams Family. Sorry, I didn't do my...
She's grandmama.
Yeah, she's grandmama.
Was that
All right, blaze it,
Is that
Granny.
grandma?
Yeah.
New York Times, 1991, said, making his directorial debut, the excellent cinematographer Barry Sonnenfeld gives the film a visual wit to match its screenplay's ghoulish gags. Mr. Sonnenfeld's direction owes a lot to Tim Burton in its funhouse cleverness and its eagerness to rewrite the laws of nature. The LA Times in 1990, the Washington Post in 1991 said, the Addams Family is more laughs than a casket full of whoopee cushions at a mortician's convention. More than merely a sequel of the TV series, the film is a compendium of paterfamilias Charles Addams' macabre drawings, a resurrection of the cartoonist's body of work for family friends. It would seem a viewing is de rigor mortis. The damn paterfamilias. Roger Ebert in 1991 said, there are a lot of little smiles in the Addams Family and many chuckles and grins, but that didn't add up to much. The movie is like a series of the Charles Addams cartoons that inspired it, in which every individual line or image is self-contained. I was mildly entertained, but I was hoping for big laughs, and with one exception, I didn't find them. So on that note, let's talk a little bit more about the Addams Family. Grace, you have the most costumes, so...
Lucky me. Okay, sure. I love the Addams Family. I can't get enough. I have Addams Family and Addams Family on DVD. I watch it year round. I feel very close to the Addams Family. I named my late cat after Morticia. So maybe I come by this natural, honest. Maybe I come by this honest is what I mean. It's
we brought in the expert this week.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the best you got, like I say. I'm the best you got. It is a whimsical and a like fresh take on the cartoons. Like, I so disagree. I don't think anything's self-contained. I think it's like a wonderful expansion of Addams Family, and then it moves us into Addams Family values. Like,
can you talk about what is the breadth of your exposure to the Addams Family? Like, have you seen this specific series with these specific actors? Have you seen like the older series in black and white?
Oh.
Have you seen the new cartoon movie?
Yeah,
show us your expertise here. Like, I want to know like what. Yeah.
Well, pretty much, she's saying,
okay.
Can I see your resume, please?
Yeah. Can you go ahead and show us?
Okay, sure. So, I have seen the black and white, syndicated television series with
the whole thing.
Fred Astin and Carolyn James.
Okay.
I don't know if I've seen the whole thing, but I've seen a lot of the episodes.
Oh, wow.
And I'm very familiar with the Broadway musical that had Nathan Lane and Bebe Neuwirth in it, The Addams Family. And that was a whole other storyline where Wednesday, it comes after Addams Family Values. So it'd be Addams Family Values, and then the Addams Family, like this Broadway play, where Wednesday is of marrying age, and she marries her boyfriend or fiance, who's that like wimpy little kid that she meets at the summer camp. I've seen these two movies. I have them on DVD. I've seen the new like cartoon. I haven't seen Addams Family 2. That's the second cartoon where they like go on vacation. But I saw the first one. It was adorable. With Oscar. Zach, you're stressing me out.
Sorry.
And I've seen The Exorcist about 1,000 times, and it only gets funnier every time I watch it. I've lived through the Black Plague and loved it. Beetlejuice.
I got you. I follow.
Those are my credentials.
I love that. I love that.
Zach,
So, can I just ask, like, this isn't a little derailed here. Did you like the cartoon? Because I just can't watch it. I've seen this. I know how good this is. I just can't bring myself to watch the cartoon.
Are you talking about the recent movies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the recent Addams Family movies.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a
That's for
sucker.
you, Grace.
I'm a sucker.
Okay.
I'll fall into it. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. I thought it was cute, the little like montage of Morticia getting ready for her wedding day, and she like dips her makeup brush in her mother's ashes to like do her perfect eyeliner. Like that's such a silly little flair. That's what these movies are full of, like silly little flair.
For
Just
sure.
like commit to the bit. Like it, so good. So
That's
good.
true.
I thought it was. I thought it was
Like
super
honestly,
cute. Yeah.
honestly, the movie when it becomes like plot heavy, it becomes boring. Like when it's just
Yeah.
like them, it's just them like doing shit. It's way more fun.
Yeah, I just want to like kind of spend time watching them just kind of like crawl around their house and do.
Yeah, if it was like an hour and a half of them just wandering around the house, fucking with people, I would be like, let's sign me up for this.
And there's so many moments where
I
you're
watched an hour-long like Scooby-Doo montage of them, going in and out of all the different rooms and that's another one. I've seen the Scooby-Doo Addams Family crossover episode. Is this enough? Do I qualify?
Yeah, I think you're good.
You got it.
I think you're good now.
I was just curious. Like, I was definitely curious if you had seen the cartoon. I was also curious if you had seen the old TV show. I've seen pictures from the old show. I don't even know where I'd watch it, but it looks cute. Like, I really like
Hulu.
I really like
Addams Family. It's on Hulu.
Yeah. Okay,
and that's where I watch it.
Good to know. But yeah, I think this movie is really fun. It kind of, I feel like it's comparable, but be careful. I feel like it's comparable to like the Goosebumps movie that came out just a few years prior to it. But I think this does what that does like so much better. It takes kind of this like kooky concept with these people who are kind of in like just a little bit outside of like the world of reality, and it like centers on this family and all this stuff. But I think this does it so much better. I don't know. There's something about Goosebumps that maybe because it's directed by Tim Burton, right? And it's just kind of this, and I like Tim Burton too sometimes. Like, let's not say like he's not fun. I tried to get him on the series, but I didn't win, and it's okay. But like, it's got this like more bombastic thing that I think that the Addams Family.
Calls or something like.
It's okay. I mean, you know what? I got the Addams Family on, so that was what I got.
Sorry, you were saying you tried to get Tim Burton on, and I'm like.
But what I'm trying to say is this movie I feel like does a lot of what that Goosebumps movie does too, but it's so much more like restrained. I think like it's so much more crisp. I think, but that's what I was gonna say. But it seems like we're ready to move on.
I just want to add real quickly that Tim Burton did not direct the Goosebumps movie.
I thought he did. No, not Goosebumps. Goosebumps is not the word I was looking for. Beetlejuice. I'm so sorry. That's a completely different thing.
That's twice. That's twice, guys. 2 times. Okay.
Twice what?
That's 2 times.
2 times.
I won't say it.
About?
Okay.
2 times you said the word.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Never mind. You guys aren't fun.
Oh.
Anyways,
Addams
Family.
I know what she's doing now.
I know what she's doing. About the movie that I'm talking about. The movie
Beetlejuice
is directed by Tim Burton.
Oh my God!
You did it.
Comes crashing through my window.
Is that but different?
I love the Addams Family. This movie serves to reintroduce us to our favorite quirky family. But wait, gang's not all here. We've got like that's not funny. I mean, it's a little funny. It's very funny.
It was very funny.
It's pretty funny.
Oh no!
It was very funny.
It didn't become dark. No, this movie is the best whenever it's just kind of like fooling around. I also love, and we got to get into this. I like how for a kids horror movie, I see her. I'm just ignoring it. For a kids horror movie, this movie is like explicitly horny. Like
it's so horny.
just like a horny ass. Like this is hornier than movies that are supposed to be horny, and this is a kids horror movie.
Yes, I love the scene where
that's
she's
why
being
it couldn't
tortured,
be Robin Williams.
and then no, it could not be Robin Williams. The guy who plays Gomez, Raul, what is it?
Julia.
Raul
Julia. Fantastic. I love the scene where she's like all like hooked up to that big wheel and he's like, okay, I gotta get her to skate. But they have this moment where he's just like, my love, one day without you would be death. Pokers, and they're like getting so like, yes. And she's like, later, my love. And then they're just like looking at each other and they got this music playing like so loudly. And then you have all this time. And then one of the characters, I think the like fake German lady goes, hello? Like we're in the middle of like a whole hostage thing. And they're like, they just give her this look of like, bitch.
Do you mind? Like
they're like, we're trying to have a steamy, sensual moment together. Here. Like that is so disrespectful that you would interrupt that for your dumb, like villainous plot. Like we get it, but let us have a minute of like sexual frothiness, please.
No, the movie is filled with just like sensual. I mean, even like the first scene when like she wakes up and she's like telling him, "You were an animal last night.
I know.
Do it again.
I know. I love
the way that Anjelica Huston delivers lines in this movie is honest. Yes. Like after reading like kind of the struggle she went through, like just having to like do the part, like it's incredible. Like the performance, just because she does. You know, we talked last week about The Witches where she's like really like eating up this villain role. Like she gets
to dig into it with the almost like the same amount of makeup, maybe even more, and she's able to get so much more out of like her movement and the physicality of the part.
Yeah, and this one is all like eyes and mouth.
I love the scene too where she's a preschool teacher or something like that. It reminded me a little bit of me working with like little kids and reading them a story and being like, so what did that character feel? Show me what that would look like. And my kids like we do a lot of that acting out, like, okay, show me who somebody who's in the blue zone, who's sad would look like. And the kids just get so into it. But in this case, she was like telling them to fathom what being burned alive would be like. And they're just like, oh God.
See, and like that's the best part of the movie is like it, like at least the first like 30 minutes or so is just them acting macabre around with people who are just trying to go about their lives, and it's great.
Yes, I love also like the implications of it, like the kids selling the poison lemonade, and you're kind of under the assumption that either they have drank it or like the members of their family have drank it, or like they're expecting regular people to drink it and not die. There's so many instances of the kids like just fucking with each other, fucking with somebody on like a life or death
Wednesday's constantly trying to kill Pugsley.
Yes, like that one scene where she like barely misses his head. Or electrocutes him. I love that the way they play with that. Like this would kill regular people, but these aren't regular people. They're Addams. And then also the kids just straight up do murder somebody. Yes, but then they get the people buried in those graves, and then the boy Pugsley is like, "Did they die?" And she's like, "Doesn't matter." And I feel like you can't just kill people in movies anymore if it's made for kids.
If you take one thing away from this podcast, it's that you just don't get to kill people in movies like you
used to. You could not get away with a movie. I mean, I guess tell us, because you've seen the cartoon. Is it nearly nuclear levels of horny that this movie is?
Oh yeah, it's exactly as horny and exactly as corny. The Addams Family exists to be the antithesis of what syndicated cable, like television families were, like the Leave It to Beaver perfect family. Here's these like gruesome, here are these gruesome caricatures, these oddballs, they're freaks. Look at them. Aren't they weird? They love each other and get along really well as a family.
Right. Like so much better than y'all idiots.
Yeah, like they love each other. Like the husband and wife love each other and are openly affectionate in front of the children. Like, whoa, that's subversive. Like,
it's interesting though that the animated movie. It's interesting that the animated movie is like, because you look at like the designs, they're using this movie as like this is kind of, even though they had the show before and they had the Addams Family, were around prior to this movie in 91. This is kind of the template moving forward, because even looking at like the characters in the animated movies, the recent ones, they very much are like designed by this. And I'll be curious because I think in a couple of weeks, Tim Burton's Wednesday Addams TV series is coming out on Netflix. And so it'll be interesting. Like, this one is not Tim Burton, but it's clearly Tim Burton influenced. It'll be interesting to see like Tim Burton actually making an Addams Family thing.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of CGI where there was more practical effects. Like, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Netflix. They don't know how to make good stuff, so.
Especially not dark scenes, man. I don't know what all of these streaming services.
I can't see anything.
Can't see shit.
Not well lit. You can't see anything. Anyways.
What did you all talking about that the plot you can kind of put to the side, and that it's a lot more fun when it's just kind of all over the place. The plot though in this is such a absurd plot where you have Uncle Fester, but you think it's another guy who just looks like Uncle Fester. Then you learn that it actually is. It's such a stupidly convoluted plot, but it kind of fits that it fits in a movie where a lot of the stuff just doesn't make any sense and never like adds up to one another.
It's a funny little caper of mistaken identity. It works. Mm-hmm. It feels like TV. It feels like a bunch of episodes of TV. But it works.
You get to a point, you're like, who the fuck else could this guy even be? Yeah. Like, who looks like that?
Yeah, he has the unfortunate luck of looking like Fester. Yeah.
Unfortunate, whatever. Apparently, he's a total ladies' man, so I don't know.
He's pulling twins.
Flora and fauna. The Amore twins.
But it's so funny how he's like always trying to like come up with like evil villainous things, and then he realizes the family is like the exact same way, and he's like, wait a like, what kind of coincidence? I feel like when you're watching it, even if you didn't know, you'd be like, obviously.
Well, it's great though, because it's like he's kind of trying to come up with these villainous things, but then they're getting thwarted because he realizes that the Addams Family is awesome.
They're a bunch of big old freaks like me. Like,
he's like, they're really nice.
He fits in so well. If ever you were a freak or an outcast, you feel different. You pack your own arsenic in your, sleepaway bag.
As if we'd ever run out.
You fit in with the Addams. You have a place. You are an Addams. Never forget that. Because we're Addamses.
They're so proud.
What is
they have every right to be.
It's sic gorgiamos subjunctus ac nuc or whatever. We'd gladly feast on those who would subdue us. Once an Addams, always an Addams.
That was an incredible translation of Latin.
Thank you.
Latin scholar and Addams scholar.
I'll add that to the fun fact.
I wear a lot of hats. A lot of top hats, ball caps,
and
berets, sometimes straw hats. Lots of hats.
So I think a lot. We talked a little bit about the Raul, Julia, and Anjelica Huston chemistry, but I feel like the other character that most people attach to is Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams. Just like constantly the best character, whether it's line deliveries or what have you. It's unfortunate that like the best line that she comes at the very end when she's dressed up just normally, and they're like, "Where's your costume?" And she's like, "I'm a homicidal maniac." They look just like
I'm a homicidal maniac.
And the lady is like, "Wow, nice."
But no, Wednesday is definitely. But outside of Raul, Julia, and Anjelica Huston, the character that kind of comes away with. I think she gets even better in Addams Family Values, but definitely the character that you remember most, just because Christina Ricci just does like the deadpan.
She does such a good job. How old is she too in this movie?
I forgot. I guess she's gonna be in the Wednesday.
She's got to be like maybe 10 years old. She's little.
She is 11.
Oh my gosh, she's tiny.
Precious.
And
Heavy
she just
hitter.
nails it too.
Scene
She
stealer.
just totally creates this person, and does such a good job with it and has so much fun with it. I don't know. I think it's just one of these really goofy and fun, like unforgettable movies. I think everybody just really goes full ham with it, and it feels fun. I don't know. I think it's well done.
Yeah, it's something like we talked about last week, Grace, with the witches, where everybody's just kind of committed to the insanity, and like that's what it kind of makes it as fun as it is that when you're kind of committed to, like, we're just going to be these absurd characters and we're not going to kind of deviate to fit whatever, that's what makes it fun.
Right. Yeah. I think that the Addams Family does it, and they do it so well. Zach, what else did you think about this movie?
Truly.
Did you like it?
I agree.
Yeah, I like it. This is the second time I watched it. I think
only the second time.
Only the second.
It's only the second time I watched it too. And actually, sad admission, I started watching this on Saturday night, and I was so tired. I fell asleep at like 9 o'clock and had to turn it off and finish it today before the podcast. It wasn't the movie's fault. I was just a sleepy girl.
And this person decided to put Grace at the table and challenge her Addams Family knowledge.
Oh, I didn't. I'm glad we had her. I was like, we're going to let Grace really be the star of the show tonight, because I like this movie. I've seen it, but Grace is coming in with not only the Addams Family expertise, but also as a Latin scholar.
No, I really like this movie. I watched it. I think I rewatched it for the first time since I was younger. I think last kind of Halloween. And then I watched Addams Family Values, which
You like it better?
I really like that one. That one's fun. We talked a little bit about it in the break last week. That one has Uncle Fester finds a girlfriend.
Debbie Gillespie.
And it's Joan Cusack, and she's great.
Yes.
You have the best scene in the entire series when Wednesday does the Thanksgiving Day play where she's the Native Americans, and she sends all of them against the Pilgrims, and it becomes a mutiny.
The mutiny at Camp Chippewa. It's means wonderful. Orphan.
Yeah. No.
I don't know if that's correct.
But honestly, you could probably watch the movies back to back. They kind of like bleed into one another.
Okay.
The second one, I mean, this one ends with kind of Morticia mentioning that she's going to have a baby, and so that's kind of the plot of that one. But no, I think they're fun. I really do. I think I haven't watched the new animated ones. I think it would be a lot better, to be honest, to watch, like, because I know Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain do the voices. I think it would be a lot more fun to just watch them in like a live action movie.
Charlize Theron. I don't think it's Jessica Chastain.
Is Charlize Theron? I saw somebody talking about Jessica
Chastain and Oscar Isaac are in something else together.
Okay, I do like Oscar Isaac a lot.
But yeah, Oscar Isaac, I think he'd be good in it.
But I would rather just see him.
Yeah.
I want to see him. I don't want to hear only.
He has that raw, like, smoldering power that, like, we know Gomez to have.
He's my current crush.
Devoted.
He's my current male celebrity crush.
Do we feel like this Addams Family movie has like the kind of attachment, like kind of a cult movie, like a Hocus Pocus or something like that, the kind of like that spooky season nostalgia that people draw to?
I don't feel like I hear as many people talking about it as much as Hocus Pocus. I feel like Hocus Pocus has just become a thing where you can get a shirt about Hocus Pocus like everywhere you go, and I like Addams Family has fallen to the wayside. But not to say that people don't recognize it, and like somebody dresses up as Wednesday Addams every year. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. I think that Addams Family has like maintained, like if we're talking about like cult status, it's maintained that. Like like you say, somebody's always Wednesday. Some celebrity couple is always Gomez and Morticia, and they're heralded as like the goth icons of the season. I think it certainly has the pop culture icon, like iconography, idolatry, whatever you want to call it. Like it's recognizable. It's like it is iconic. They are iconic, and this movie is the blueprint for when people think of the Addams Family. They think of the Anjelica Huston, Raul Julia movie. They the hot, sexy, smoldering love affair, Gomez and Morticia, Christina Ricci. Like I think that this has like the power and cult success that Hocus Pocus has lost, and now it's like more mainstream. Like you say, everyone.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Everybody is the witches.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen the witches either.
Yeah, well, because I think the witches is very much like in cult.
Oh no, I mean, I'm not saying. I mean like just the witches, like the witches are back, like the three witches.
I see Addams Family pop up on like they'll have some kind of family movie things around, and they'll have that for like October. I think
there's nothing scary.
No, there's nothing scary, and it's pretty. It's I think it's like we've talked about. It's entertaining to watch. I think it's interesting. I just find it interesting that it just doesn't kind of get I agree with you, Grace. It gets the love and attention because I think people are familiar with it, but it definitely hasn't risen to like, I don't know. I guess it is pretty. I guess it's well known. It's kind of difficult though because it doesn't. Like you said, Hocus Pocus has gotten to this point just because I think it's become much more mainstream. This one, it like straddles the line between being very popular but also a little underrated.
Yeah, like I think it did have like a bigger following at one point, and it sort of died down. And even with the cartoon coming out, a couple of years ago, I don't know that Addams Family has the same cultural presence as Hocus Pocus. That being said, I like it better. It doesn't have to be a competition. It's okay for people to like, I like it better. Yeah. But that's just
it can be in this to me.
It's okay. I don't want to underestimate the like horniness and sexiness of it. Like, there's no reason this movie that's geared toward children should be like have this much sex appeal in it, but it's just like they go for it.
Why not?
Nope.
They can't.
Everybody's like a eunuch in Hocus
Pocus. A happy marriage,
Everybody's a eunuch in movies now.
Sexual chemistry too.
Yeah, everybody is a eunuch.
I know.
That's probably why I responded more to it, because I'm just like, nobody has any fucking sex in movies now.
Nobody has any raw like attraction anymore. Like
in this one, literally every Morticia and Gomez scene is just them like fawning.
This movie confirms, your parents, they fuck. Or they did at one point. They definitely do, because they conceive a child. They conceive a child in the time frame of this movie, so
it's believable because they
fuck.
Yeah. They couldn't have parents who fuck in
the Addams Family. You don't get nuclear levels of horny just anywhere.
That's true.
Maybe in The Munsters.
I gotta watch it.
If you
really talked me into it. You've talked me into it. And I gotta watch Addams Family Values as well.
You do need to watch Addams Family.
Because that's the one where she's like at the swimming pool.
You want to borrow my DVD?
Maybe, or maybe I just pull it up on the old Amazon.
Any final thoughts? Any last things you would like to add about Addams Family? Like I said, I recommend it, especially if you're kind of looking for this. If you're looking for like a nice spooky, fun movie that kind of has Halloween vibes, but there's nothing scary in it. It's more just entertaining and kind of goth.
Yeah, if you don't want to be scared, but you want to kind of get in the spooky season mood. Yeah.
And you want to be turned on a little bit?
Yeah, you want to be vaguely horny, but also,
well, they're
I I don't think there's anything like truly frightening. There's some like momentary like, ooh, what's up? And then you're okay. Like you're safe. It is a safe movie. If you've never seen it, you should watch it.
There's some blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fake blood.
There's a lot of fake blood.
Like Titus Andronicus levels of like fake blood.
That I forgot about that scene. It was just great. Like when they cut off his arm, it's just spewing on the audience.
They get completely soaked.
I like that the movie committed to just having a scene in each movie that's just like a great children's play.
Yeah. Children's art, children's theater, very like underrated.
Very pro children's theater.
I want to say this. One little fact that I love, Raul Julia, the man, the myth, the legend, was rest in peace, a classically trained opera singer. So that scene in the canals of Castle Addams, as he's the gondolier, pushing the gondolier or whatever, through the canals, singing. That's him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's his beautiful voice. Any language he speaks, he was Cuban, he spoke Spanish, sang in French, German, endlessly talented. A real star. And I miss him. And we don't see actors like that anymore, like so well trained, so well versed in their craft. And I just miss him. And this one goes out to you, Raul. I hope you're listening.
Yeah. But Raul is Puerto Rican, not Cuban. So.
Oh gosh! Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry.
Shout out to Puerto Rico.
Shout out to Puerto Rico. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Jesse, any final thoughts on Addams Family?
No, I just think it's great. If you haven't watched it, you got to see it. Do yourself a favor. Watch it this spooky season. Watch it with a kid or without one. It works well either way. And you should definitely check it out.
Store-bought or homegrown kid is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Go find a kid.
Go find one. See if there's a bored kid nearby that would watch a movie with you.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give them some
Busy
candy.
Street, school.
That would probably work for sure. And then
I mean,
your intentions
work on me.
Your intentions are pure. You just want to show them a movie. Like it's not even weird.
Yeah,
they're like, wow, this movie is like starting off really horny. I feel a little unsafe. And then you're like, no, this is fine. Like that's just Gomez and Morticia. Like that's not me. That's just them. They're happy though.
Yeah. So
happy wife, happy life.
Exactly. All right. Well, I believe that will wrap up this episode of Cinematary. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cinematary, on Twitter and Instagram at handle @Cinematary, and on Letterboxd at letterboxd.com/Cinematary. We put all the movies that we talked about in this episode. If you'd like to support the show, maybe get us that soundboard. Get some
that sweet dough.
Get a little soundboard so we can get some like radio noises going on. Support us at patreon.com/Cinematary. It could be $1, $5, $10, your whole life work, $100. Whatever you want to do. Thank you to our patrons: Cam, Chad Newsom, Corey Willingham, Candace Sisson, Ron Hayes, Teresa Marsati, Titus Arthur, and Tyler Chandler. Thank you so much for your patronage. Next week, we're going to be continuing our Horror for Kids series with 2018's The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Yeah, good old Jack Black action, which is really the highlight of watching this movie. It's Jack Black's in it, and he has a little goatee.
Jack Black's in it?
Yeah, and he has a little goatee. So
since he made the movie.
Since he was in the movie. He's also in the Goosebumps movie that Jesse was referencing.
Yes, it was not that good. It was not that good. Do not recommend it. But that wasn't what I meant to be talking about. I meant to be talking about another movie that starts with a B that I'm not.
It's okay. We already said it 3 times.
Beetlejuice.
We already said it 3 times, and Michael bust through my door and rip my clothes off. So,
Whoa!
Talk about getting steamy.
It's just a Beetlejuice.
After we have The House with the Clock in its Walls, we're going to be doing Wendell and Wild, the new Henry Selick stop motion animated film. So I would recommend. I think when do we look again when we're doing that? I think it's the 25th, 28th. But if you have not seen, check out Wendell and Wild. It's going to be coming out October 21st. I think we talked a little bit. Andrew and Reed and I caught it at TIFF, but that's going to wrap up our series. So check that out. It's on Netflix, and I recommend it. Thumbs up on Wendell and Wild. All right. Till next week. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you then.
Stay cool.
Da-da-da-da.